Yeah, this team is crazy. There's been obviously a few of the teams have had like similar kind of structures, a few players the same. I look at this one. I mean, my name's Rich. Welcome to Chasing Green Arrows, and I'm really excited for this one, having watched the last few episodes. This is Pimp My Team, so let's get into it. I do recognise this team. I do know who it is. It's Andy Teach Mode, who I believe was on this the other week. So I've seen this team a couple of times. I guess the priority for the long term is going to be getting Son or Kane in. But yeah, I would to pimp this team. I would move Christensen to Chilwell or James. I just think it would make a good team better, and for the long term as well. You know, with those two Chelsea defenders, one of them attacking, because it's a little bit boring at the moment with Christensen and Rudiger as the Chelsea assets. I see this team, and the first thing that stands out is Edouard. Yeah, that's I mean, I like the rest of the team. I'm quite jealous of the Jota pick, for example. The defenders are good. Well, the three starting defenders are good, but it's Edouard that stands out to me. So I think to pimp this team, I'd have to do Edouard to Tony. I think with those fixtures, and especially with Norwich up next, Tony would be a big upgrade. So yeah, the first thing that stands out here is Zaha. I do like him. He's obviously he's on penalties. I prefer him to the Edouard pick for example. Havertz has obviously only got a week left as well. We'd assume anyway, with depending on the fitness of Lukaku, Pulisic, etc. after the international break. I don't see Vardy as a problem. I've seen a few teams this week with Vardy, but I think the fixtures are about to get really nice there. So if I was going to pimp this team, I think I'd wait a week. I know it's not the most exciting answer. I think I'd wait till after the international break, because then I think it's going to be a priority to get rid of Havertz. And it'll probably give you, multiple routes to get to Son, for example, or you could do Havertz and Vardy out for Kane and someone. So, yeah, I don't mind the Zaha punt. I'd concentrate my transfers next week on getting rid of Havertz. Yeah, I mean, looking at this squad, it's quite deep, to be honest, as in you've got 15 players who will probably start. I know Douglas Luiz has some kind of issue at the moment, but he's the complete fodder in this team. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. So I think the reason it's deep, the squad's deep, I'd look to roll on this one as well. And then you've got a lot of options you could look at next week. Because obviously Armstrong, we spoke about Southampton players when we were doing the previous video. And we don't know who's going to start for Southampton. So it is a little bit of a gamble, but he's currently benched in your side. So I'd leave it a week. And then after the international break, you can attack, with two transfers and really look to make a difference there. But yeah, it's a solid team. And just on two Man City defenders as well, because I've seen people mention moving Diaz to, Chilwell or James. I wouldn't be doing that. I think over Christmas, you're going to want Diaz. So yeah, I think this is a roll, having looked at it properly. This team is this is Az's team. And I know he's doing quite well at the moment. And it's not too different to mine. It's just scoring a lot more points. Again, this is another team with incredible depth to it. There's 15 starters in this team. Potentially could even look at bench boosting. It's hard actually to pick anything out here. I guess Vardy, as with other teams, is one you might look at and be like, oh, why have you got Vardy? But I think the next few fixtures are better than the two fixtures he's just come out, when he's blanked. I don't even mind Duffy at home to Newcastle. I'd probably be tempted to play Cancelo. But that's mainly out of fear. Yeah, I can't knock this team. I actually can't. Yeah, this one's got a really, really strong defense. I guess the only player that really sticks out at me here is Mount. And I guess it's just because we don't know about his fitness going into that Burnley game. So I think it's going to have to be one where you keep an eye on it midweek, with the Champions League, see what Thomas Tuchel says about Mount, because I wouldn't want to sell him ahead of that game. But if he's not going to be fit, or if he's a doubt, I think to pimp this team, I would do Mount to Rafinha. I know a lot of people are frustrated at Rafinha at the moment because he only got 9 points, but I mean, 9 points is a good return. And yeah, so the way I pimp this team is Mount to Rafinha, but only if, we think that Mount is a doubt for the weekend at home to Burnley. So my first thought with this team, I know. So the goalkeeper, there's no goalkeeper, and Raya was obviously injured during the week. So I'm a bit curious if there was a transfer done or if it was deliberate to go without a keeper. And obviously it's really, really unfortunate to get a goalkeeper injury. So I think there's only really, looking at the team, you've got enough outfielders to get through next week. So priority has to be to pimp this team is to change your goalkeeper. For me, if I was removing Raya, I'd go straight to Sanchez. Because those fixtures are turned now. Brighton have got Newcastle at home and, a really good run over the next few weeks. I guess the only thing there could be if you've only got the exact money. So you'd be able to sell Raya for 4.5. Obviously, Sanchez is 4.6. So you could look at Fernandez. So the Brentford, I was going to say backup keeper. He's now the first choice keeper for the next 6 months or so. But yeah, priority for this to pimp this team is change your goalkeeper. Yeah, this team is crazy. There's been obviously a few of the teams have had like similar kind of structures, a few players the same. I look at this one. I'm almost going to ignore the Embremo captain because there's so much other things to look at here as well. Like I love the Man City double attack, but it's brave. It's taking me aback a little bit, this one. I do actually quite like the Jesus pick. This sort of reminds me of people obviously recommend differentials, every week, but they never go through with them. And this person's team, they've gone through with, several differentials here. I'm really struggling here. I think what I would do to pimp this team, I would look at doing De Bruyne to Mane. And then you've got, double Liverpool attack. Because clearly you're not scared of differentials. I genuinely do like the Jesus pick. He seems to have the right wing spot nailed down there. So for me, assuming you're playing style, I'd go De Bruyne to Mane and Captain Salah. Yes, it's solid. Obviously, they've got Kane in. Obviously, since Conte's come in earlier today, Spurs are becoming all the rage again. So I think Kane's quite an easy hold. Tony seems to be the budget striker of choice with those fixtures coming up. So I think with this one, 2 Chelsea defenders in already. One of them's one of the attacking wing backs. So again, I think it's looking at Mount, see what happens with Mount this week. And again, if Mount's not fit for the weekend, I have no idea if he is. I think it was a sickness. So he could be back. To pimp this team, I would look at Mount to Rafinha again, depending on if Mount's out. If Mount's going to play, obviously home to Burnley, you keep him. But yeah, no, solid team. I like it. Yeah, so stinks of goals. Yeah, I think it does stink of goals. Got Chilwell, Cancelo, Rudiger. Yeah. See, I'm liking a lot of teams this week. I almost want to disagree with some of these teams, but it's hard to. The double Brentford attack is, such incredible value for the next few weeks. And with that bench as well, again, it's another team with 15 potential players playing. Obviously Douglas Luiz, we're not sure about, but he's last on your bench and he will be back. You'd expect he'd be back within a few weeks anyway. Yeah, I almost wonder if for example, if you had 2 free transfers already, you'd have to make a move. Then it probably gets a little more tricky. Then maybe you could look at something. So I think I'd roll if you've only got 1 free transfer. However, let's assume you've got 2. So to pimp that team, I would look at doing Rudiger to James. and just have a little bit more fun with it, because you've got that depth on the bench anyway. So if Diaz comes in, if Livramento comes in, you're not going to be too annoyed anyway. Honestly, thank you everyone for sending in the teams for me to have a look at and try and pimp. I was actually quite impressed by some teams, and a couple of teams have given me a little thought for my own team as well. Made me think maybe I'm being a little boring. But no, thank you for having me on Chasing Green Arrows. And please don't forget to like and subscribe the video.